I'm just undoing a join as you go bit of crochet because I forgot to do the join as you go, which is fundamental to the technique. So I just need to frog back a couple of clusters so I can actually slip stitch to join. La-di-da-di-da. Oh man. I've just immediately noticed a mistake. I thought I'd come along for a little casual crochet chat, and I've immediately seen end of the world stuff. There's 4 stitches in this granny cluster when there should be 3. It's an outrage. But do you know what? I'm going to get over it because life's too short. Am I going to undo that granny square even just 2 rounds to correct the mistake? No, I'm not. Of course I'm not. I'm so close to the end. I've done so much work on it. But I just don't care. It doesn't matter, does it? How are you? Are you all right? How's it going your end? Everything is okay here. I am just cleaning up on the last dregs of a cold. It's been a week. I'm so fed up of it. And it's my week of annual leave too. It's not fair. It's always the way, isn't it? Get sick when you're off on holes. Anyway, look what I've made. Ta-da! It's not finished yet. Before I start talking even further about my crochet shenanigans, my name is Rosina. I'm a crochet designer and I'm coming to you from the southwest of the UK. You're right. Yeah, I hope you're okay. What are you working on? Are you crocheting, knitting, cross stitching, embroidering? What are you up to? And where are you doing it? Let me know. Are you in the southwest of the UK? Blah, blah, blah. Are you in the southwest of the UK? Are you somewhere else? Drop a comment. And before anything else happens, don't forget to like and subscribe. I need to sew in the ends. I don't know whether I'll do it whilst I chat. It goes quicker, doesn't it, when you're with company? Not sure what to do. I've got plenty to talk about in terms of crochet. I do have one knitting project, but it's over there and I'm too lazy to go and get it. Essentially what that knitting project is an aran weight jumper that I showed you probably last time, the sky blue one where I'd gone wrong and I couldn't bother to undo it. Well, I could be bothered to undo it and I did it and I've started again and I'm much further on now without the blatant mistakes. I also thought that my tension was a bit off. The stitches were very, very loose. So it was an opportunity to correct that as well, because there is a risk of running out of yarn because I was a bit tight on the old yarn purchasing, and whether or not I have enough to finish a jumper, I don't know. But by adjusting the knitted tension, it at least gives me more of an opportunity not to run out. So it's also a bit boring, so I'm not gonna go to great efforts to go and get it because it is just at the moment a boring piece of stockinette. And I have a feeling that it might take me another 3 years to make. It's already been nearly a year since I bought the yarn and the pattern. So if I were to mention it every single podcast, even if they're sporadically spaced throughout the year, it still might be another 13 years before that's finished. I don't know. Anyway, seeing as I'm wearing this, shall we talk about it a little bit? I'm just going to get out one of my darning needles. It is such a simple thing. Yet I shared a picture of it on the old gram that was a 30-second photograph. I chucked it on a piece of paper, went boom, snap, shared it, didn't even think anything of it, and people have gone a bit crazy for it. And I don't mean viral, because I don't think I've ever been viral before, but whereas maybe I get 150 likes or something like that, or 300 likes on a picture these days, that one's at nearly 2,000 likes, and that's like a rarity in 2026. Never happens, but it's happened for this humble little granny scarf. So of course I'm scrambling desperately to make samples and write up a pattern to kind of go with that frenzy, because I think it's an opportunity and people obviously want it, so let's go for it. This afternoon after lunch I filmed a video tutorial for it, which it will take me a week or two to put together. All it is, actually it does look pretty cool though. This is no border. This is a border on it after it's finished. And this is the picture. I took a picture of this. It's just a tiny little thing. And yet everybody really liked it. And I haven't even modelled it in a photograph, but it would look like this. And maybe if people knew that it just looked like this, they'd go, oh, I don't actually like it anymore then. I'm not sure, but with the right outfit, I don't actually think this would look that bad. I think it would look pretty cool. Especially it's like I've got the right sides facing here. You can just tie the knot so that happens. I mean, the wrong side isn't particularly unattractive, but I know it's not as aesthetically pleasing. Don't know. But because it is so short, and I didn't know if that would appeal to the masses, here's a slightly longer version that once its border is on will be the same but different. And also in the pattern I will include the option to have it so that you have the angle at a jaunt, a jaunty angle, pointed angle, or something that is more symmetrical, a more symmetrical finish, and the difference being one simple triangle stuck on the end. But it could, I like to give people the options, so I think that's a good thing. And options being things like this one is joined together using a mattress stitch instead of join as you go, if that's more your cup of tea, which is really neat and tidy actually. But wow, join as you go is so much quicker. See, these are all almost one-nighters actually, almost. And also under 100 grams of DK yarn. Such a nifty little project. I'm not sure I like the mustard particularly, but I had like 100 grams of mustard to use. This weighs about 85 grams. Fabulous stash busters if you want to do the colourful version. Pattern is coming soon. If you have any questions or any like thoughts on it, let me know. Like, why is something like that just so popular? Like literally, when I enjoyed making it very much. I enjoyed making all of them, and they all have the same border because there's enough options in terms of length and pointiness and joining that do we need another one in terms of the border? But not enough options clearly, because I've also done a little headband version as well, which I would like to do one in 4-ply or sport weight probably, or 4-ply held with mohair. I look like a little, I don't know what I look like, but I'm not tying it up, but this is the general idea. Do you like that one as well? That will be in the pattern. Would I actually wear something like this outside? I don't know, because I get cold ears until they hurt, but a very hot head. So I need something to protect my ears, which is why I've crocheted earmuffs before. But this would be just as warming for the ears and not overheat my head. So would I look like a fool if I walked out in that? I don't know. Anyway. Like I said, the pattern is coming soon, and I hope that I've done a good job with the tutorial. It's all in pieces at the moment, and it needs to be uploaded, edited, smushed together, put on the old YouTubes, tied in at the same time with the pattern release, which will also have photographs of the join as you go technique, charts, and all of that together to create the pattern in the hopes that people can make it. And that's one of the reasons why, gosh, granny squares are awkward, because I feel like I need all of that. Despite the simplicity, they are the most awkward to write. Let me talk about another obsession. I have 3 main obsessions so far this year, and those granny square neckties and scarves are one of them, and the other is my new pattern release. It is here. It is Cerberus, and I haven't shown you all of my Cerberuses, my Cerberi. This is the skinny Cerberus, and you can wear it as a scarf, necktie type thing. And when it behaves itself, it'll lie flat. Stay. So this is the skinny version, and there's loads of crochet and knitted patterns out there like this at the moment. I know there are, but I like to think that this one's like one of the best ones. Yeah, because I mean, I made it and designed it. So oh gosh, there are loads of good ones, but I particularly like this one because of the I-cord edging, which is crochet in the easiest form ever. It is just, well, I've got a video tutorial, go and check it out. I published it earlier this week. The beauty of the fabric that you create means that it curls in on itself, creating like an I-cord, a false I-cord. So, I mean, I made this one is the skinny one, and I made it after I tried this. This is the shallow Cerberus, but a small version of it. This has not been included in the pattern. This is a reject because it was too deep and not long enough. And this one, yes, it wouldn't have reached all the way around well enough. But unlike all the other Cerberuses, this one's just double knit yarn, not a 4-ply or a sock weight held with a mohair. It's just double knit, because you can easily do that. It's no problem at all. And I didn't block it or anything like that. I haven't even sewn in the ends. But I added the neon to that one because I did like the idea. I was banging on about the neon edging right when I was doing this one, wasn't I? But chickened out at the last minute, and I'm kind of glad that I did, because it's nice to have a more subtle, wearable crochet accessory. It's a bit creasy because it's been shoved down the back of the sofa, because I would have worn it out, come home and just slung it on the back of the sofa. This one is much longer and much more shawly, and so this is the shallow Cerberus, which I think I have shown before. This is the deep Cerberus, which I've definitely shown before, and all 3 of these shapes, the skinny, the shallow and the deep, are all included in the pattern, all charted, so you can see the difference between the depth of increases, rate of increases. I actually this one was the first one I made, and I wanted the shallow version, but I actually have a soft spot for this. I think it's actually quite classy. Maybe there's a reason why I haven't worn this one more than the green one, because I'm not classy enough. But this one is yarn from along Avec Anna. This is yarn that is Yarn Smith Merino. Sock held with their 4-ply, along Avec Anna. Deep stash, no idea, but I used an alpaca fluff for the brown, so it came out a little thicker. And I've got a feeling that the acid yellow is from Bona Yarns. It does mean that. Pretty sure. An independent yarn dyer. I don't know where he's from actually. Somewhere in the UK. Does really nice colourways. And that was held with a mohair that I bought. It was quite expensive. It was like the only one I could remember when I was writing up the pattern was the mohair, and none of the others I could remember the details of. And it's since I published the pattern like a few days ago that I found the yarn band for the acid yellow, and it is a guy called Bona Yarns. I've used his yarn before. It's really nice, beautifully hand dyed. I am not done with Cerberus because I became obsessed and made more. 2 more. I thought, I wonder what it looks like in Sheepius Stonewashed. This is Stonewashed Minerals with the normal Stonewashed in graphite. Cannot remember the colour of the the minerals one. And I haven't written the details anywhere because this again was an experiment in shaping and didn't make the final cut, but you could easily use the yarn in one of the published patterns. I just thought it's not properly blocked either, so it's curling in on itself, and also that's because of reject reasons. But I think the sample looks really effective in that colour changing yarn, so just so you can see what that looks like. And then finally for Cerberus, I did all one colour for the main body, and then it's got a contrasting edge to it. And I talk a little bit about the differences in using a matchy colour yarn to the main body and a contrast edge, and what you might want to do if you want to use a contrasting colour. That is discussed in the blog post about the I-cord edge and the video tutorial. There's like a close-up examination on the differences. This is the skinny Cerberus using a worsted weight yarn. Sorry, I just had a 15-20 minute hiatus because I was talking to my mum, she phoned. Skinny Cerberus, several more repeats. I think this one has 6 more repeats before descend, like 6 more repeats on the increase before descending back down to the other end, where there's another 6 pattern repeats obviously, which makes a really nice shawl, scarf even. The Urban Purl for the main body, a beautiful hand dyed yarn that I got at Unravel not last year, year before. And then this is Qing Fibre, a worsted weight yarn that I've had, oh, maybe 4 or 5 years, just waiting for the perfect project for it. And this was it. And until the 7th or 8th of March, maybe the 7th, there's 25% off Cerberus on Ravelry and Etsy if you type in the code WOOF26. That's all capitals, WOOF, WOOF 26, for a 25% discount on Cerberus. I hope that you buy it because I really like it, and I think it's a fabulous design, and you get 3 patterns in one. Plus that I-cord edging. I loves it. Loves it. Oh, and also, in case you're interested, I am trying to get my blog a little bit more swish these days. I have a history of that'll do in me, and whilst it can be good sometimes to have a that'll do attitude, the level of that'll do, my expectations of tidiness, neatness and properness they're increasing. I'm getting more detail orientated as I work as a crochet designer, and that's because initially, and this is really weird because this morning and yesterday I've started looking at some of my really old blog posts from 10-11 years ago. I've got 409 blog posts to go through, and I'm going to start with the oldest ones and work my way through. I am baby steps into a very long journey of tidying. Could take me a year or two to do all of it, but some of my old blog posts are written by a person who doesn't know what they're doing at all, is playing around and just starting out, learning all of the basics. And so when I read them back, sometimes I'm like, oh bless me, but also, geez, where's the finesse, woman? So I am spending a long time making sure that I tidy up old blog posts I don't want to change the intention or change the mood or the feeling of them, because it's nice at some point, maybe when I'm a super old lady, I'll look back and go, wow, I'm glad I started when I did, because actually you do have to start somewhere. You can't wait until everything is perfect, because then you would never start. So I quite like the evidence of the progress and the evolution, but there's nothing to say that I can't go back and just tweak them a little bit to make sure that the photos are appropriately named and I'm using SEO and keywords properly, which is boring to behind the scenes talk a little bit, but it's something that I'm working on, because I know that I'm going to come across posts where I've gone, you were so half-assed on that one. Pull your finger out and do a proper job. What also happens is, not only do I get that kind of, it'll be all right, I'm going to hit published, that sort of attitude of, if things get too serious and I have to do lots and lots of work, I can find it quite overwhelming. And do I bury my head in the sand? Perhaps. But also I find solace in alternatives. So when I'm supposed to be working on a pattern that has a deadline, I will suddenly have inspiration for a brand new design and focus fully on that for about 2 days, do half of it, and then there'll be another new bright idea that I have, and then I start that cycle again. So that initial buzz from the first thing that turned my head, that then becomes hard work in itself. It's a cycle. I know I have it, and actually I use it a little bit because it does drive forward the work, just not in a linear fashion. So for example, this scarf was one of those, oh my God, I've got a brilliant idea. I'm just going to do it. Let me put aside the Cerberus shawl that I should have written up and published. I'm going to work on this. It's really important that I work on this. When I was doing the scarf stuff, halfway through, when the realization hit that I actually had to put pen to paper, metaphorically, because it's actually fingers to keyboard, instead of sitting down and doing the writing for what is essentially a fun design, oh no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. I wanted to make myself a balaclava out of granny stitches. Of course I did. Why wouldn't you? But before I came up with this, What started this, I called edging around the face, by the way. What started this granny balaclava adventure was a granny bonnet. Somehow, somewhere, for some reason, can't remember, but I went, I've got to do a granny stitch balaclava, granny stitch bonnets, here we come. Thus, starting the process yet again, because I created charts for this when I was supposed to be writing up the other pattern, when I was supposed to be writing up the other pattern. So this is now fully charted, half written, but not even properly finished, because I don't think, oh, maybe this one has an edging. Actually, this is the first one I did. It's probably my favourite. This is Rowan Kid Silk Haze. Rowan Haze Kid Silk. It's very expensive yarn. It's like £15 a ball. But arguably, with this, you only need 2 balls. So 30 quid for a hat. Would you spend 30 quid on a hat? For the right hat, yes. And actually, for a bonnet, would 1 ball make a bonnet? No, probably not. It depends on the yarn, because posh Rowan yarn for this bonnet, or I did actually then start, which one did I do next? I did this one next, and this is not finished, and it was slightly different, and it's a bit smaller because I haven't done enough, I haven't done as many rows. I wanted to see if I could get away with fewer, and actually no, I can't, it doesn't look as good. This is Stylecraft Grace, you see, which is mega cheap in comparison, and you can do, I think you might be able to do 1 in a whole ball. I haven't worked out the weights yet. But I don't like this one as much because it's not the right number of rows. But then I also did this one. This is procrastination at its absolute finest. This one is Rowan Kid Silk Haze plus a yarn I got from Linda Hobby, which is a yarn called Popkorn, I want to say. Not entirely sure, but it was very similar looking, but miles cheaper. And I put the two together. Works really, really well. I would recommend that yarn. And it's got little tiny blips of colour in it, and all the ones I want to buy, like cream as a base with rainbow pops of colour, they're always sold out, so I can't get those, not yet. And then also, this was me experimenting with different ways of attaching the ties. So this is sewn on separately, and I will offer that as an option in the pattern, but I don't like it because it creates a sort of slight angle, which I am not keen on. But it is an easier way of joining this tie, just to stitch it together. But actually, the finish isn't as nice. So if you, I think, but I did it on her, I did sew this one separately as well, and it wasn't so pronounced, so I guess it depends on the tension of your stitches. This one is worked all in one piece, which is a bit finagly. However, I have worked out a chart which shows you what to do, and all in one piece is far better. Needless to say, these patterns will come very soon, but probably at the wrong time, because they're a winter thing really, and honestly spring is around the corner, so what am I doing? Should I wait until the autumn winter time to release this and focus on it, and then maybe make 2 really strong samples? Or because this is really on trend right now, should I do a rush job and bosh them out dead quick? This is always a dilemma. Do you like it? I think they're so cute, but I feel like an idiot. But the cuteness overrides the idiocy, just about, yeah? I think so, I think so. And then the pattern would actually involve the bonnet and the balaclava, and so far I've only made one balaclava, and this one is drops daisy held with drops mohair kid silk. So basically what we're looking at is an aran weight yarn, 5.5mm hook, and this is what you get. A super speedy crochet project. I've worn this, I wore this all around Liverpool last weekend. We went for a two-night stay in Liverpool. If you want to do the same, there is a Premier Inn on the Albert Docks, which is fabulous. Not an advert. The bathrooms are a bit scuzzy, but we didn't care about that. The view was fabulous, and the building is like Victorian. It's cool for a Premier Inn. I thought that was pretty cool. Loved Liverpool. I've never been before, and all of us really enjoyed it. Even the youngest went, "Oh, that was better than I expected." So definitely worth a weekend away. However, no wool shops, unfortunately. But I did go to Uniqlo and buy myself a new cardigan because it was on the sale. This is like literally one ball of each colour of the double knit. So I don't know whether to extend it further down to create a more secure neckline, but in doing so I would need to buy more yarn to make it longer, and I don't know if that would be what people wanted, or if they wanted something that was you know, under that 100-gram threshold for the main yarn. And also the other thing, potentially, if you were to make it longer, you could do a major stash buster and have loads of different colours in it, so you didn't need to like eke out just two balls. But it depends on whether or not you have mohair in stash, doesn't it? And not everybody does. I can't remember if before my mum called I was going to start talking about blog posts, because I've written one about the crochet trends of 2026, which I'll share a link below as well, because I had really lots of fun writing that. I did lots and lots of research about crochet trends, wool trends, and fashion trends in general, and I thought it would be good to see what sort of things are on the horizon. As a designer, what should I anticipate is gonna come up next winter and all of that malarkey. And it was a really good blog post to write, and I wrote one last year for 2025 that was a bit less detailed, and like I said, I am sort of trying to work harder at becoming more thorough in my blogging approach, and that was one of my pieces that I'm most proud of in terms of writing. Anyway, thought I'd drop that in just to say I've written it. There's a link below, go check it out. Also, as well, because I love mohair yarn, I did a roundup of 20 patterns for crochet that use mohair yarn in lots of different ways. So whether or not it's a full garment using completely mohair, or just having mohair touches, and going from like easy projects for crochet that have mohair in to more complex designs that also use fluffy yarns. I'll leave a link for that below as well, because that was another one that I enjoyed looking at, writing, like researching and writing and stuff like that, because it just meant I got to go through Ravelry and Pinterest a lot, looking at pretty pictures. But I've shared my faves, and the ones that use mohair in not necessarily unique ways, but interesting ways, and ways that are budget friendly, and ways that are more elaborate, I guess. Moving on to one quickly, which I've talked about a lot, and I'm starting to feel like I'm going to bore people if I go on about it too much, but Off Kilter. This is called Off Kilter now. It's gone through many variations of names because nothing really sang at me. What were some of the names? Oblique was one of them. Cata something, not catastrophe. Lots of names, and Off Kilter, I just kept calling it Off Kilter just because I didn't know what else to call it, and it is now stuck. So this is a 4-ply crochet cowl, and it is made on the diagonal, which is why it's called off kilter. And this is River-Knits yarn. It is like the best green in the entire world, probably. But because I don't want to just do a 4-ply cowl, I thought, let's do a double knit cowl as well. This one is a little bit less wide. The circumference is a couple of centimetres narrower. So it's a nice fitted cowl. It's out for testing at the moment because, and I'm testing this double knit version because it is so snug that I don't want makers to make it and then it be too small. Because the other thing as well is that this main body is pretty much bang on 100 grams, like a 100 gram ball, or 250 gram balls to be precise, of Drops Daisy, I think. And I didn't want people to use it and run out of yarn because their tension was different, or make it and their tension is too tight and it doesn't fit. So it's out with testers at the moment. But also, I mean, the size shouldn't be an issue really if you ensure you get gauge. That's the only reason why it's important, is the fit. And if you had, like, say 150 grams of your favourite double knit yarn, you wouldn't really be in much trouble anyway, because you could just, if you ran out and you weren't quite finished, you just sort of tack on a little bit more at the end. But off kilter should be out and available, I think, from around the 8th of March approximately. So that's very, very nearly ready for release. So I thought I'd let you know about that as well. But that, other than that, I think that's it. I have to go anyway because I've got to go and make the tea, and my phone is shouting at me because once again I have filled it up with chat. So I hope you're well. I hope you're crocheting like the wind, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Cheerio. Bye bye.